Hello everybody and welcome back to the Healthy Orange Movie Reviews, the show where we bring you film criticism that is honest, insightful, and, not least of all, fun. I'm your host, Bennett Campbell Ferguson, and what you are about to see is part 4 in the series about our favorite films of all time. Enjoy. Alright, Max.
Okay, this one was sat on the bubble, but it ultimately made the cut. Kung Fu Hustle. Anyone?
Oh my god.
Stephen Chow.
Yes.
This is foreign film. I saw it get nominated for a Golden Globe, and then I think it missed the Academy Award, but it was nominated for Golden Globe Best Foreign Language Feature, and I was like, and I just remember these Asian people doing Kung Fu, and then it cut to a bunch of people dancing with axes, and I was like, maybe it's like a strange dance Kung Fu movie? I was given the title, and I picked it up one day. It is hilarious. It's a hilarious Kung Fu movie, but it also, the things that people, it kind of deals with like these legendary like martial arts masters and this guy who just wants to be a martial artist, and he kind of has the makings of a master, and he's like, I'm just gonna lie my way through life. He's kind of just a lowlife, but ultimately, it's so funny, and these ridiculous things happen. There's like a fighter who like moves his body like rubber. He can like deflect people's attacks. Like you go to punch him and he like bounces it off and it hits someone else. And there's these guys that play a mandolin thing that can create this force that can kill a man, and they don't make any sense. They're all ridiculous people.
Fucking Looney Tunes, man.
And the best way it can be summed up is there's these 3 martial arts masters living in this it's like a building where all these tenants live, and there's this landlady in her nightgown, pink slippers, and hair curlers, and they are all standing around after they just like saved the village, and they're like, what are the odds that 3 Kung Fu masters would all be in the village? Yeah, it's a shame we're all getting kicked out. Only to find out, guess what? The landlady and her lecherous husband are also even greater Kung Fu masters. It's just so ridiculous, and it's so great, and it also has a weird love story that ties in. It's really sweet, and that's not the point of the movie, but they put it in there and it feels organic and it works, and it's one of those movies, I'm going to just say the same thing, probably not as heady as The Fountain, but just go into it with nothing, and it's very cartoony and just outrageous, and I watch it and I still laugh to this day. There's a scene where he's like, just go kill the old woman, and he has like 4 knives, and he like brings the knife back, stabs it into someone else, flings it forward, and it hits the woman in the head, and she goes, who's throwing handles? And he goes, handles? Turns around to find the knife still stuck in his arm, pulls it out, he goes, don't! And he goes, ow! He goes, I'm sorry, and sticks it back in.
That's Wile E. Coyote right there.
It is Looney Tunes in a Kung Fu movie, and Stephen Chow does a great job. I think he wrote the movie or directed, but
he directed it. He probably co-wrote it.
And he's in it, right?
He's in it. He's the main character, and it's just so great. There's just so many good things happening in there. You're laughing, but it's also a martial arts movie, and it's really cool to watch these epic fight sequences. And yeah.
All right, Allie.
Okay, well, my next movie is another romantic comedy featuring a lot of dark humor, and that is Grosse Pointe Blank, which features David Duchovny and Minnie Driver. If you haven't seen it, David Duchovny plays...
Wait, Grosse Pointe Blank?
No, oh my goodness.
I was gonna say,
I'm thinking
like...
of Return to Me, yes, thank you. Grosse Pointe Blank is John Cusack.
There you go.
Thank you.
But also Minnie Driver, right?
But also Minnie
That's
Driver.
the
Yes,
confusion.
yes,
I know
that's
what
the
she was
confusion.
going. I've never
It's funny,
seen
I don't
either
see her
movies,
much,
but yeah.
she's in 2 movies on my list. The only 2 movies I've seen her in, I think. So John Cusack plays an assassin who is kind of questioning, he's having kind of the midlife crisis, so this is really what I want to be doing. And his assistant, who's played by his sister, Joan Cusack,
Love Joan.
Basically kind of strong arms him into going to his high school reunion, where he meets up again with Minnie Driver, who he stood up on prom night to go enlist in the military because he was freaked out about life, and the military found out that he has some kind of gray morality and is perfect for a specific job at some point. you get tired of doing it for the military and you branch out and start doing it on your own. And that's how he became an assassin.
As you do.
As you do, yes.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Why have I seen
It is
this?
amazing.
That's completely absurd. I love it.
It's this absurd story that just, it's that same kind of feel of there's all of this absurdism that just gets brought along, similar to The Big Lebowski, as just the normal.
Just you said it.
Yeah. So, there are all of these run-ins with different assassins and different people they knew in high school. And it's a hilarious movie that's so ridiculous. It's such a funny premise, but they make it work so well. And there's this great interplay between John and Joan, which there always is. It's the same as it is in Say Anything. They just play off of each other really well. She does a great job being the smarmy, sarcastic assistant.
I love her.
It's hilarious. But there are also all of these really sweet, tender moments. When he comes back into town and sees Minnie Driver again for the first time, and she's on the radio. She's a radio DJ in town, and she puts him on the spotlight. He comes in and looks at her in the studio, and she waves him in and sticks the headphones on him, swings the microphone over, and is like, "So callers." The man walks back in after 10 years after leaving you on prom night in a $300 dress. What do you do? And, he's an assassin. He's trying to keep a low profile, and he's like, pushing the microphone away. Can we? And she's like, nope, just swings it right back into his face. There's this great interplay, and just, it's a really fun movie, I think, is what I like best about it. There's a lot of dark humor, and there's some really touching points, when he goes back home and there's a mini mart there that eventually gets blown up in a fight with another assassin. He sticks a block of C4 in the microwave. And
how have I not seen this movie? This sounds amazing.
But there are these really touching moments too. His mom is in an assisted living home. She's been taking lithium, and his dad is dead, and goes and pours one out for his dad at his dad's grave. And I think that the best part is the way that it resolves. There's another assassin that's literally trying to create a union of assassins. And John, his whole point is, we went into this because we didn't want to work for other people. And there's acceptance from her father when he saves her father's life, and eventually they actually drive off into the sunset together, him and Minnie Driver, and she's decided to accept him for who he is as an assassin. And it's a great, hilarious story.
It sounds awesome.
It is awesome. It's on Netflix.
Oh my god! Bing! Cherry on top.
And it's called Grosse Point Blank, which in itself is hilarious because their high school is Grosse Point, and then it's Point Blank. That right there. I mean, come on.
It's great.
It is awesome. Great.
So in this round 4, we're doing really fun movies.
I guess.
My next one is really fun.
I started with Airplane. I believe I've been fun the whole time. Except for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah. Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah. Ben?
All right. As I said, I do have a really fun movie next. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Nice. Yes! I just watched part of that before I came over.
Nice.
Oh.
I have all these intellectual arguments about it, but it's one of the funniest movies ever.
It's hilarious.
It is. That song, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish.
It's completely underrated, and
I agree.
They do a good job. I don't care what anyone else says.
And it's there are just so many beautifully absurd touches, from the Vogons, and their wigs and stuff. And then, one of my favorite shots, the scene where, I don't know if you remember, but there's a bicycle with square wheels in the background. All these little, things crammed in, they're just beautifully absurd. And then on top of that, I don't know if this was in the book originally, but it's really emphasized in the movie. There's this kind of beautiful idea about how life is weird and life is meaningless, and that's why life is beautiful. When Arthur Dent, chooses to leave Earth at the end, he's choosing to live in this kind of nonsensical, silly version of life. And I like that, I don't necessarily agree that life is meaningless. But I really like watching the movie and just, like kind of absorbing that for 2 hours. Because there's something really soothing about that. Like it
Life is ridiculous, but life is beautiful.
Yeah. It's a movie where I find it, hard to. I mean, I feel like all my worries seem kind of insignificant when I watch that movie because the movie makes a mockery of everything. This question of the quest for the answer to life,
Like,
the universe, and
it
everything.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, the movie's saying that the whole thing is stupid. All right, Patrick.
That was a fun detour.
Well, this movie's kind of fun. Maybe not in a whimsical or comical way, but Inception.
Inception.
Oh, wow.
I don't have a lot of deep commentary about it. I think it's a very straightforward blockbuster, Hollywood blockbuster, but it's done very well.
Yes.
I like Christopher Nolan's style in that blockbuster style, whatever you want to call it. But it's just entertaining to me, and it's a good model for blockbusters because it's the kind of movie that, well, for me anyways, I could see it over and over again, even though it doesn't really bring a lot to the table as I keep watching it. I'm just super entertained by it every time I see it, and that's a lot of fun for me. Sure, you can comment on some of the plot, what it's trying to get to in its material, but I don't think that's really. It's just a fun blockbuster kind of movie.
Yeah.
You just entertain yourself.
He's like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna give it
Yeah.
some depth, but it's gonna be good,
Yeah.
but it's still just gonna be entertaining, and it's a great heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I watch it like at least twice a year. I mean,
Elaborate
yeah.
metaphor for filmmaking.
Yeah. You bring up a really good point. Like, we think of Christopher Nolan as like, the guy who makes the dark and gritty blockbusters, but a lot of his blockbusters, Inception included, are great popcorn movies.
Mhm.
He knows how to do great action and like hairpin twists and turns that make you go like, yeah,
I think, like, for me at least, Chris, sorry to hijack the conversation, but he's less like dark and gritty to me, and it's more operatic and grandiose. Like,
Sure.
I don't think people give him enough credit for that. Like, Batman Begins, like there's the scene where he gets cornered by the police, and we could see this play out a bunch of different ways. We could see him fight his way through, find a back exit out of the building. But what does he do? He summons a flock of bats as cover and then gets away. Like, that's what he's playing with. It's
Yes,
big.
yes.
It's larger than life because he's a larger than life character.
And just the sheer thrill of seeing Christian Bale with that cape leaping down the stairwell. I mean, oh.
It's great.
Are you gonna change your mind about your list?
I'm so sorely tempted, but
It's a good pick,
Well, it's
Patrick.
too late. We're past
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
any other Inception
Thoughts on
thoughts?
Inception? No, it's just a lot of fun. I just like watching it.
I agree. Yeah.
Really well done sci-fi.
Yeah.
Mo.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Fantastic Mr. Fox.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say Fantastic Four.
I know, me too. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not.
It's so bad, it's good.
No, it's just so bad.
Didn't you watch our video?
Yes, I did.
Did you read my review?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Because
That's nice.
I have no plans of watching this movie, so I don't mind reading the reviews and seeing the videos. Also, I love you guys.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think at least most of us have a Wes Anderson movie on our list, and I think that's. Do you not? I don't. Oh, I thought you did.
I don't either. I confess.
Okay, then just us two. Nice work. But I think his style took a little bit to grow on me, and part of that is because like the first movie of his that I watched was Darjeeling Limited.
Oh, yeah.
But like Fantastic Mr. Fox was kind of was one of the more perfect uses of his style because it's this very deadpan kind of grounded sort of humor, and it works when you play that against this whimsical setting. So it works in Moonrise Kingdom because it's these kids making up their own little world. It works in Grand Budapest Hotel because it's a fake hotel in a fake country in a fake time. And it works in Fantastic Mr. Fox because they're talking animals, but they're acting like suburbanites. And it's funny and it's clever. And it's about a midlife crisis. It's about Mr. Fox going through this, like, I'm going to do one last job to make me feel young again, and how that ends up blowing up in his face. But it's fun, and it's entertaining, and it's got a great voice cast. I love the aesthetic of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it all looks homemade. Like, it's, like, the stop motion of it all. Like, there's intricately detailed, the main characters, all the animals, but you can kind of see like the points where their hair is depressed between shots because someone pushed it down and didn't bother like combing it back into place. There's scenes where there's an explosion and it's just a bunch of dust like moving towards the camera with like cardboard cutouts of stars and fire and stuff. And I love that. I love that they're sticking to that. Great songs in it. Well, just one song really.
I would actually say that.
Okay, some
Well,
soundtrack overall. Yeah.
The Wes Anderson and Tarantino. That's the one thing I feel they have. Two things they have in common is you see a movie by that person, you're like, oh, that's that person. But also the soundtracks. I think those are the only two directors I own more than two of soundtracks to their movies. I'm like, they're just great. That's a good one. It starts with Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but it works.
It's very funny, and it's kind of a celebration of the ordinary. Like the animals go through this big adventure trying to save one of their own, and they get to the end and they're like, yeah, we're just happy living in the sewers now. We carved out a little piece of home for ourselves.
It works.
There's that line he says at the end, even these apples look fake, but at least they've got stars on them.